Hi, I'm Clay Chester. I'm going to walk you around your RV. Starting from the front of the driver's cab, we're going to walk around. This first compartment is your generator compartment. Each compartment has a little holder here. You flip this, hold your door up. Inside your generator compartment, you mainly don't need in this compartment, but if you do run your generator often, you need to check the oil. So you turn these switches up, pop this off, and you'll find this yellow dipstick that you can twist to check your oil. You're probably going to see that there's oil on the dipstick and you don't need to check it. If your generator shuts off, this is the first place you want to check and make sure that you have oil. Moving on, if the doors are locked, you primarily don't need to get in it. Most of the doors that you get in often all have the turn latches. So you don't really need to worry about getting in this. This is for a battery. This is for your outside utility shower. If you want to rinse off during the day and not get inside and get dirty. This is your furnace. Once again, you don't need to get in here. Inside this compartment is where all your water hoses, any type of filters or anything that you need. But this is where you store your water hose after you use it. This is where your sewer's at. So your sewer hose is located in the back, the rear bumper of the vehicle. That you'll take off the end cap of the rear bumper and you bring it over. And if you're just dumping, you can hook it up, directly in. If you're going to be staying in a campground for a while, you'll take this cap off and run it up through the bottom. You hook it up first before you touch these valves, and then once you're hooked up to the other side. Just pull the valves and everything dumps out of the RV. Generally when you're dumping, you'll pull the bigger tank first, and then you'll rinse it out with the gray water tank, which is your shower water and your sink water. Really simple to do. I suggest wearing, if you've got gloves, wear gloves. And it's a really simple process. So moving on back, you've got your fuel tank. Unleaded fuel only, just like any other vehicle. You've got a couple outside outlets. This back door is a storage compartment that goes all the way across the vehicle. You can store your bikes or your bags, whatever you want to. These are actually leveling blocks. If you get to a campground that you want to, put one side up or the other, you can pull your wheels up on this. Golden key on your key ring unlocks these two compartments. First compartment being your water. So you've got your water inlet that you will hook up for city water. When you're in a campground, you have a hose hookup. You run the water hose that's provided, hook it into this, and you just turn pressure on, and that puts water pressure to all your sinks and your showers. When you're going to be traveling, you will fill this, take this cap off, stick your hose in, turn it on, let it roll until it spits out. You can't overfill it. Once it overfills, it's going to just run down the side, and then you'll know when to shut it off. Fill that up. And to use this water, you need to turn your water pump on inside the vehicle, which is right underneath the microwave. Next compartment down is your electrical hookup. All right, moving on to the next compartment, the gold key, the gold round key that I opened the first compartment up with, opens up your electrical compartment. So while you're using the generator, there's a box inside which the electrical cord is currently plugged into now. That is running off the generator. So if you're going to get to a campground where you want to plug in for a day or two and use their power, simply unplug this and you plug right into their breaker panel that they provide for you. When you're done with this, shut their power off at the breaker panel, then unplug it, make sure your generator is not running, and plug this back in. It's a little bit tight, and make sure it's all the way in And then you can fire your generator up, and now your RV is going to be running with your generator. Also make sure that you shut these properly and that they are closed so you can go down the road and move on. Your bumper, this is where your sewer hose is stored. This is one thing that is very commonly lost, so make sure you put that in properly. We don't suggest using this ladder for anything. If you need to get up and check something, it's strong enough to, but we don't suggest kids playing on it. Is the other side of the bay that we saw on the other side, that with your more blocks for leveling, and this is where you can do all your storage at. This next compartment is your propane tank. Propane tank, you'll go into an RV shop or a truck stop or an RV propane fill place. Just tell them to fill it up. They'll come in, fill it up. This is your propane on and off. And this is your gauge telling you how much propane you have in the RV at that time. Pretty simple. So generally the propane will be on. If you are worried about it, if you're on a long trip and you don't want it to leak, keep it off. All right, coming in the front door, this first, you're gonna have a couple switches right inside. You've got a battery disconnect. So if you're going out for the night, you don't wanna run, if you're not plugged into power and you're just running off the house batteries and no generator, just simply flip this switch. That shuts off all your lights, everything but the refrigerator is now shut off, so you're not going to get any unwanted battery drainage. But when you come back at night, if you have all the lights on, which we do right now, you just hit this button, all the lights come on and they're just running off the battery. This is your outside patio light switch, and then also your step switch. So for example, if you're going to be coming in and out of the campground all the time and you don't want the automatic step to go in and out nonstop, you'll shut this switch off, and that way it just stays out all the time, or once it's in, if you shut it off, it'll stay in. Starting with your generator is right on the end of the sink. To start your generator, you will hold the bottom where it says stop till the red light comes on, and hold the top. Sometimes it takes a couple turns. All right, so it took a couple turns, but don't get frustrated. That happens. Sometimes it gets confused. Don't we all? So you've got your kitchen sink, you've got your stove. Right above the stove is your switches for your water pump, your hood light. This is for your hood fan. And then if you hit test, these aren't always the most accurate when it comes to your holding tanks. But you'll see when I hit test that these lights light up. So our battery condition's good. Our LP gas tank is low. Our fresh water is low. Holding tank 1, which is your gray, which is actually your black, which it says right above there, and your holding tank 2, your gray water, both are low. So these are great. This is telling us we need to fill propane and fill our fresh water. Right beside that is your water pump. Moving on. So your refrigerator, you've got auto, off, or gas. So on gas, that means you're going to be using your propane all the time. And even when you're hooked into power, sometimes you don't have enough power to run your refrigerator, all full-time gas. Or you can put it on auto. So auto's gonna pick, if you've got your generator running, it's gonna use the generator power. If you're plugged into the campground, it's gonna use your campground power. Or if you don't have any of that, it'll use your propane. So I like to keep mine on auto, so knowing that I always have power going to the refrigerator to stay cool. This side, we've got your air conditioner. So on the air conditioner, you've got a normal thermostat, cool, fan, off, and heat. So right now we've got it on cool. We've got our fan on low, and then you can put it on high. All right, and in the bathroom, just remember in your shower, you've got 25 gallons to use. So picture 5 5-gallon buckets. So when you are taking a shower, especially if there's several people, get in, get wet, shut the water off, lather up, then turn the water back on, rinse off. Quick, easy camper style showers. If you are hooked up into a campground that your drains are open, use all the water you want. You might run out of hot water, but use all the water you want. It's nice, it rinses out the gray and black water tanks. So use all that water, but when you're traveling down the road, 5 gallon water tanks is what you have available. All right, so also with it in the bathroom, we do put toilet paper, couple rolls in here, and then we also provide a freshener for the septic tank. Sometimes it can get a little smelly. Just drop 1 or 2 pods down into the toilet, flush it a couple times after you've dumped. If you're going to put it down, make sure your valves are closed outside, because it's not going to work if your pods are going to go straight out and then down into the campground sewer. Show up to pick up your RV, we're going to have the keys in it waiting on you. If they're not in the ignition, they're going to be in the cup holder. These drive like any other van, they're just bigger. So I tell everybody, be super careful. When in doubt, get out. It doesn't matter where you are, you're better off to just take your time, get out, make sure that you're not going to hit anything, and just stop the vehicle, get out, and look. So always make very wide turns. When you're turning in a lane, just cut it real wide. Our long wheelbase makes it, if you cut it too short, you're going to run your back wheels either into another car or off the side of the road. But they run good. Your best mileage is going to happen. Your best fuel mileage is going to happen probably around 60 miles an hour, which is probably plenty fast. It'll go faster if you like, but you're going to burn a lot more fuel. You can run the generator going down the road as well. Once again, it burns more fuel. But to have the main RV AC on going down the road, you need the generator on. If you turn the generator on, get it cool in the back, you can just run your normal AC. You can shut that off, keep running this, and it should keep everybody comfortable. And that's about it.